Nestled in the South Pacific Ocean, Pitcairn Island is one of the most isolated and unique places on Earth. Part of the British overseas territory of Pitcairn, Henderson, Ducie, and Oeno Islands, Pitcairn is situated more than 5,000 miles away from the nearest major landmass, making it one of the most distant human settlements on the planet. The island's total land area is a mere 47 square kilometers, about 18 square miles, which is just large enough to sustain a small population. Despite its remote location, Pitcairn's history and culture are steeped in fascinating stories that stretch back over 2 centuries, with the island serving as a symbol of both isolation and survival in the modern world. Pitcairn Island was first sighted by Europeans on July 3, 1767, by the British explorer Philip Carteret. However, it wasn't until 1790 that it became widely known after the famous mutiny on the HMS Bounty. The mutineers, led by Fletcher Christian, seized control of the British naval vessel and set Captain William Bligh and the loyal crew adrift in a small boat. After a harrowing journey through the Pacific, the mutineers sought refuge on the isolated island of Pitcairn, which was largely unknown to the outside world at the time. The mutineers, along with a few Tahitian companions, settled on Pitcairn, where they found fertile land, abundant fresh water, and relative peace far from British naval authorities. The island's isolation helped them escape detection for many years. However, over time, the small community faced internal conflict, violence, and tragedy. Of the original group, only a few survived, but by the mid-1800s, the descendants of the mutineers began to thrive, marking the beginning of a long-lasting human presence on the island. Pitcairn Island is a volcanic island which was formed millions of years ago by underwater eruptions. The island is mountainous, with steep cliffs along the coastline and lush, verdant forests covering much of its interior. The highest point on the island is the peak, which rises about 347 meters, 1,141 feet above sea level. The terrain is rugged and difficult to navigate, with few paths or roads, making transportation within the island a challenge. The island's climate is subtropical, with warm temperatures and high humidity year-round. Average temperatures range from 18 degrees Celsius, 64 degrees Fahrenheit, in the cooler months to around 28 degrees Celsius, 82 degrees Fahrenheit, in the warmer months. Pitcairn Island experiences a steady rainfall pattern throughout the year, which nourishes its dense vegetation and contributes to its lush landscape. The surrounding ocean, rich in marine life, provides the community with a bountiful supply of fish and other seafood, which is a staple of the islanders' diet. The remoteness of the island has helped it remain relatively untouched by the ravages of modern industry and development. Its isolation means that many of the natural resources are still abundant, and much of the island's ecosystem remains pristine. However, the lack of accessibility also presents significant challenges to the islanders, including limited access to medical care, education, and supplies. As of 2024, Pitcairn Island has a population of fewer than 100 people, making it one of the least populous inhabited islands in the world. The island's inhabitants are descendants of the HMS Bounty mutineers and their Tahitian companions, a unique cultural blend that is reflected in their language, traditions, and way of life. The islanders speak a distinctive dialect of English known as Pitcairnese, which incorporates elements of Tahitian, English, and other Pacific languages. This unique form of communication serves as a cultural marker for the community, linking them to their ancestors while also creating a sense of unity in an otherwise isolated environment. The island's population is aging rapidly, with the majority of the inhabitants being older adults. As a result, there has been concern about the long-term viability of the community. The younger generations often seek opportunities elsewhere, moving to New Zealand or other countries in search of education or employment. The island has a strong sense of community, and many of the residents are related by blood, with family ties going back many generations. The deep bonds between the islanders are central to the way of life on Pitcairn, and much of the social structure revolves around kinship and mutual support. Life on Pitcairn is heavily influenced by the rhythms of the natural world. Agriculture and fishing are the primary sources of sustenance, with residents growing crops like taro, sweet potatoes, bananas, and papayas, while also relying on fishing for their protein needs. Pitcairn Islanders also harvest coconuts, which are used for both food and oil production. The island's lush environment allows for a simple yet self-sufficient lifestyle, with most of the island's needs being met through local resources. However, due to the island's small size and limited arable land, many items including fuel, medicines, and other essential goods must be imported from New Zealand. Pitcairn Island's social structure is unique, with a governing body that includes a mayor and a council of islanders. The island is officially administered by the British government, which appoints a governor to oversee the territory's affairs. However, the day-to-day administration of Pitcairn Island is carried out by the residents themselves. The island holds regular community meetings where important decisions are made collectively. These meetings reflect the close-knit nature of the community, as all decisions are made with the input of the people, and there is a strong emphasis on consensus building. Pitcairn Island's isolation offers both advantages and drawbacks. While it allows for a peaceful, tranquil way of life away from the hustle and bustle of the modern world, it also poses significant challenges. The island's geographic location makes it difficult to reach, with limited access to the outside world. There is no airport on Pitcairn, and the island can only be reached by sea, typically by a long voyage from New Zealand, which takes several days. This remoteness creates logistical difficulties, particularly for medical emergencies and access to goods and services. The island has a small health clinic, but it lacks the facilities and resources to handle serious medical issues. Residents in need of advanced care must be flown to New Zealand, a costly and time-consuming process. The island's infrastructure is minimal, with few modern amenities like reliable internet or regular electricity. For much of the year, power is generated by diesel generators, and communication with the outside world is often limited to sporadic radio signals or mail shipments that can take weeks to arrive. Education on Pitcairn Island is similarly constrained by its isolation. While children are taught in a small school, the lack of teachers and resources means that educational opportunities are limited. Many island children attend school in New Zealand or other countries for a more comprehensive education. This exodus of younger residents has led to a decline in the population, as many of the island's youth are unlikely to return to Pitcairn after completing their studies. In recent years, the island's dwindling population has raised concerns about its future. With fewer people to carry on the traditions and culture of the island, there is a growing fear that Pitcairn's unique way of life may eventually fade. The lack of young people and the difficulty of attracting newcomers to such a remote and challenging environment has led to questions about the long-term sustainability of the community. Despite these challenges, the people of Pitcairn have shown remarkable resilience and a deep commitment to preserving their heritage. The island's history, rooted in the tale of the Bounty mutineers and their Tahitian companions, is a source of pride for the islanders. Each year, the community celebrates Bounty Day, which marks the anniversary of the arrival of the mutineers on Pitcairn. This celebration includes traditional music, dancing, and storytelling, all of which serve to keep the island's unique cultural heritage alive. The stories passed down through generations are not only a link to the past, but also a way of maintaining the island's identity and sense of community. The preservation of Pitcairn Island's natural environment is also a key priority for the residents. Pitcairn is part of a protected marine reserve, and the islanders are deeply committed to sustainable practices that ensure the long-term health of their ecosystem. The island's rich biodiversity, including its unique flora and fauna, is a valuable part of the global natural heritage. Islanders work to safeguard this environment by limiting the impact of tourism, carefully managing fishing practices, and promoting environmental conservation. Tourism is one of the few sources of income for Pitcairn Island, although it is limited due to the island's remoteness. Visitors to Pitcairn must make the long journey by ship from New Zealand, which is a costly and time-consuming process. However, for those who make the journey, Pitcairn offers a unique and intimate experience. The island's visitors can explore its rugged landscapes, learn about its fascinating history, and engage with the islanders, who are often eager to share their stories. The small number of tourists who visit Pitcairn contribute to the local economy by purchasing goods, services, and souvenirs from the island. However, the economic impact of tourism is minimal, and the islanders continue to rely heavily on subsistence farming and fishing. The limited economic opportunities, coupled with the challenges of isolation, make it difficult for Pitcairn to thrive in the modern global economy. As the population of Pitcairn Island continues to decline, the future of the community remains uncertain. The island faces the twin challenges of isolation and aging demographics, which threaten its long-term viability. Without a sustainable influx of young people or resources, it is unclear how much longer the island will be able to maintain its current way of life. Nevertheless, Pitcairn Island remains a symbol of human perseverance and the strength of community. For those who call it home, the island represents both a refuge from the outside world and a connection to a unique and storied past. The challenges it faces are real, but the islanders' resilience and determination to preserve their way of life offer hope that Pitcairn will continue to survive, even in the face of adversity. In an increasingly connected and fast-paced world, Pitcairn Island stands as a reminder of the importance of isolation, self-sufficiency, and the preservation of cultural and natural heritage. While the future may be uncertain, the island's rich history and the strength of its people ensure that Pitcairn Island will remain a part of the world's collective memory for years to come.